Can I take a vacation? No. Can I do this special project about? No. Can I take a lunch break? No. Can I work part-time? No. Can I get some help around here? Heck no. Well, can I at least listen to this episode? Why, certainly. Listen, the season of no is upon us. Get prepared.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarrett Patton.
Welcome to this episode of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarrett Patton, and I am your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed, please invite them to join us along this journey. Just go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. And while you're there, please rate this episode. Give me honest feedback so I make sure that I'm providing the most up-to-date information on career and life changes. Yeah, well, today, let me tell you guys, the season of no is upon us. No, 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 no. You are going to hear this word a lot coming on. Some of it are things you can control. Some of it is totally out of your control. But nonetheless, you need to be prepared because you don't know if you're at risk yet. And in this episode, we are going to go through what this season of no means for you and things that you can keep doing in order to survive this season. We'll get back to the heart of this discussion right after we finish thanking our sponsors.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
Hey, this is Dr. Jarrett Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live, daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live, daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarrett on Licensed to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey, let's go.
Hey, listen up. Early bird special for Licensed to Live, the conference 2023 is finally here. Now is the time. We are lining up an incredible slate of speakers that I can't wait to tell you more about. We are just letting some of the ink dry and we will let you know. But you know what we've done the past few years in regards to this show. It is a life-changing show. And this time you should change your life. Simply go to licensedtolive.com. People often talk about yes men and how, you have that person around you or that person around your boss maybe that they're like, yes, 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 sir. Yes, ma'am. I want to make sure that I'm doing exactly what you want me to do. Some people call them an ass kisser. Some of them call them, suck ups. There's a lot of things that people call these people. But yes, men usually don't do what you need them to do at the time you want them to do. They're just going to say yes to you no matter what. They may not be that great sounding board. But hey, at least you know what answer you're going to get. Today, we're going to be talking about this season of no. And this is a word you may hear more and more lately because there's a lot of things going on right now. And a lot of places are scrambling, trying to figure out what's going to happen next because there's so many things going on. So strap in and just get ready to hear what's going to happen with you guys next, because the season of no is here. Well, let's look at what's going on. I mean, temporally in this space at the time when we recorded this episode, we are running up to the end of a quarter. And the end of a quarter can be good. Now, this could be the first quarter, could be a second quarter for your corporation, could be the last quarter for your corporation, but there is a lot of pressure on quarterly numbers. And when people are in this mindset and mind frame, they are staring at these numbers very, very, very carefully. And, well, it's numbers based on profit and loss, what's going on, and healthcare may be about admissions or RVUs, but there's some sort of calculus going on where people are crunching these numbers. And this season of no comes around all different times of the year, but we particularly have a few issues that we have to deal with here. So, let me just take a quick look here. All right, well, let's look at these inflation numbers. The latest inflationary numbers show that they are down from last month. Well, that's great, because inflation has been sky high. But of course, when you look year over year, those numbers are much higher than they used to be. And what does that mean? Well, that means that businesses have to spend more money because of the loans that they may have taken out. It's causing their payments to go higher. You guys are probably feeling that strain too when you see those credit card interest rates adjust and those payments get higher and higher and higher, especially if you have an adjustable mortgage. Credit cards are notorious for this. But maybe even car loans or something like that can be a part of this. And, well, what ends up happening? You get stuck in the middle. So businesses are no different than this. I mean, we can take a look at some recent small bank failures. There's at least a couple that are going on at this day. The government is trying to step in and interact, but we've seen the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank that had basically what equates to an old-fashioned bank run. And in this case, people feel that their money is not safe in these smaller institutions because of some decisions the institution made that may have made it, despite their billions and billions of assets, they may not have the actual cash to run out of the company if businesses are here. And particularly if you work for one of these businesses that are affected by this bank, which lots of small businesses, lots of startup businesses had their money in these banks that were tied to payrolls, operational expenses, and all types of things that suddenly may evaporate or freeze, or you may not have access to, which is terrifying. I don't know if any of you guys have ever lost a debit card or lost a password to your bank accounts or some other way have not had immediate access to your money when, well, maybe you needed to pay bills, maybe you needed some cash to put into your pocket. But hey, it becomes a big issue in your life if you can't get that cash that you need at the right time. And so when you look at the failure of these small banks, which are tied to many small businesses and probably some medium and maybe even some large businesses, But when you look at a failure in that banking system, it can easily lead to failures in other businesses because of that. I mean, heck, if I couldn't pay my staff for a number of days or weeks, or I don't know when you're going to get paid because the bank is closed, that is not going to sit very well. So overall, we have this unsteady market that is going crazy here and making lots of people nervous. So the stock market reacts, investors react, and as you start to follow the money and where it trickles to, businesses get caught in between. And as these quarterly numbers are coming in, things may not look so good. And whose fault is that? Well, probably not yours, but you're going to have to pay the price anyway. And that's what brings on this season of no. So I remember living through a season of no back in my executive and corporate days because, well, that calling comes loud and clear. Something didn't look right on the latest financial numbers. Something didn't look right on the latest projections. Something didn't add up. And people sit around the boardroom saying, ooh, this is not looking good. We better shore up some of these assets. One thing in healthcare that we do know is that people will remain getting sick. People will need procedures. People will need medications. People will need doctors. And all of these things are important. And we may not be able to afford to keep all of our doors opening. And so what happens? Well, in larger systems, they may just say, look, we need to close this outpost that we thought was part of our expansion plan that would be great. It's not turning over fast enough. It's not making enough money. So we're just going to close that whole hospital down. That in and of itself causes an uproar in the community. It causes an uproar in people who need services nearby to them. And, politicians get involved. All types of people get involved trying to prevent this from happening. But sometimes there is just no option. And so under this season of no, I've seen it up close. And yeah, at the end of the day, it boils down to numbers and spreadsheets, and the people who are making the decisions don't always have all of the colorful information that you may have on the front line or even as a middle manager to see what's going on in regards to your domain. But some of these things have to happen anyway. And it leads to, well, the first thing that we've talked about several times on the show is the elimination of jobs. So you may be working somewhere where you were planning on hiring a replacement for somebody that retired. You were planning on hiring new people to expand, to handle all this additional load. You may just be simply trying to get people to come back to speed because let's remember the employment market has been turned upside down and people are being very specific and what their job requirements are and what they need, which I recommend all of you guys do. Now is the time to relook at your jobs and think about what these jobs mean to you and how you get satisfaction out of your job and how you get even more satisfaction out of your job. So this is a good time to do it. But the season of no is upon us. And this can lead to job losses, which could be your own. It could be due to businesses folding up and going away. So as a result of this, you need to have all of your ducks in order. If you're responsible for cutting some of these jobs, I know some of you guys get mandates that come down from your boss's boss that say we need to eliminate 6% of positions. We need to eliminate 42 positions. We need to eliminate 3 positions in your department. All of these things get handed down and you aren't left with much choice other than to do what they say, because over the years, you've tried to manage very leanly. You have reduced your overall expenses. You have looked at all of your necessary arrangements to try to make this money come in the way that it needs to. And yes, that has helped. But now they need to go to another phase, the no season. But there are a few things that you can do right now in order to help survive this no season. And I'll get back to that right after we finish thanking our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarrett's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarrett.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Well, if you find yourself in the middle of the season of no right now, I want to make sure that you know that no isn't always the answer. But since no is going to be the answer, I'm going to tell you guys some things that you should not do. So we can use a couple double negatives. Maybe that makes a positive. And maybe you go on after listening to this episode saying, you know what? Dr. Jarrett was right. Life's not so bad. Let's move on anyway. I hope that's the case. But, I can't make light of a difficult situation. I mean, I have been in the rooms where I have had to make announcements telling people these jobs will be eliminated. This department will be eliminated. This faction of people will be eliminated because we don't need them anymore. It's not a fun job, especially when you've built relationships with people. You know that they are hard workers. They've done a good job. And now you're looking at, well, can you get them out softly with maybe an early retirement? And I mean, I'm all over, from pharma to hospital systems to almost anything under the healthcare umbrella is at risk because we're still feeling the effects of the pandemic and what that meant and how people in general are hurting. They're truly hurting in this environment. So this is the first thing that you should not do during the season of no. Don't be a marginal employee. If your mantra has been fake it until you make it, or hey, let me just get past this next day and just trying to slide on by, just making it every single day, just barely getting by, this is the time to step it up. Because even though you may have not done anything wrong, even though you may have not had any problems, any disciplinary actions, any issues with your employment at all, you've just been a solid, not making any waves employee, you are at risk of being no'd right on out of there. So now's the time to say, all right, let me look at what my last evaluation is. If it was anything less than stellar, it's time to make sure my next evaluation is going to be stellar, because sometimes these difficult situations are made for people that simply aren't doing as excellent of a job as one would hope. They maybe are just doing a standard C average type grade work, but, well, the only people that are getting kept are A pluses and A minuses right now. And maybe even those people who are getting B grades may be on their way out in the next round of cuts. So don't be a marginal employee. If you're having issues at your job, try to work them out now. Show that you are attempting to do other things and trying to make things right, because, well, you definitely don't want to be on the chopping block, even if things have been going relatively smoothly for you. Number 2, now this is an interesting one, because when you get told no time and time and time and time again, you tend not to ask questions anymore because you don't want to hear that word no. I mean, that happens from childhood on. I mean, as some of my parents that are learning all about behavior and the Who's Badass Kids Are Those podcast, they say no a lot sometimes, but they see how their kid reacts to no. And well, it's all about behaviors. And we as adults, we as working adults are no different. But what I don't want you to do is stop asking for what you need, because you're going to hear no time and time again. And what happens if you stop asking for what you need in your current situation? All those numbers that were boiled up on that spreadsheet, looked at across the C-suite, looked at across the board, as those numbers improve, the situation improves, and everybody gets on to the next crisis, whatever that will be. They are not thinking down to the small niche, that small area, that frontline worker, that middle management worker who may know something is needed in order to improve performance. But if you stop asking for it, the assumption will be people no longer need it. And if people no longer need it, we're not going to pay for it, and it's out of here. So despite the season of no being upon us, you're going to have to continue to ask for what you need, and you're going to have to continue to ask for it in new and creative ways, and perhaps making arguments that may be slightly contrarian to what other people say. Well, we are being tasked with eliminating jobs, but you are telling me we actually need to hire more people. And you have to put an argument forth why that may be the case. And sometimes you will win that argument. Sometimes it will be put in that parking lot, or they'll table it for another discussion at another time, and it'll be just okay. But folks, whatever you do, ask for what you need. And finally, some of you guys fall in the category of these fire starters that are starting a couple of different fires in some areas. You're banging it out in your job and you're doing very well there. And you may be putting in more work with your side hustle. You may be doing some things in that entrepreneurial field. You may be trying to create that perfect job for yourself. And if any of those things are the case for you, don't stop what you are doing. Do not take this moment for a moment of panic. Do not say, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Do not go there, because if you go there, nobody else is going to be doing this for you. Nobody else is going to be trying to kick the can forward. Nobody's going to be making progress. So if you stop, if you shut down, if you stick your head in the sand, you will not be going anywhere. And that is one of the biggest things that you must learn in these situations in which we can control, and these situations that are unexpected and we can't control. I know I certainly didn't see bank failures coming up in the first quarter of 2023, but we have to deal with this environment anyway. So now is not the time to stop. If you feel like you can't move on, you can't go forward, get some help, get your mindset in order. Practice some affirmations, do something to get your head right and back in that space, because now is the time that you should be buckling down even more, trying to get your plan in action. Because those that keep on keeping on. So if at any time you're having an issue, you're seeing the writing on the wall that doesn't look good, now's the time to take action. Don't be a marginal employee. Don't stop asking for what you need. And don't stop doing what you're doing. Keep it moving. And if at any time I can help you with this, just set up that strategy session with me. Time with Dr. Jarrett. We'll talk your situation through, and we will get a plan in action for you, and it's still absolutely free. Just go to timewithdrjarrett.com and schedule your free strategy session. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed, please invite them to join us along this journey. Go to your favorite podcast player and hit share. Share this episode with people, because there are people out there that need to know what happens during the season of no and the things that you should not do in the season of no. And while you're sharing the episode, rate this episode so you can give me honest feedback, so I make sure I'm providing you the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And hey, if you ever want to reach out in between episodes, I stay on social media. Check me out on LinkedIn at Dr. Jarrett. Spell out the word Dr. J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T, and we will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarrett's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.